We back.
Yeah.
What's good?
What it do?
Hey.
Joseph, Josh
What's going
Brolin,
on?
Bro J Simpson.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh man, it's a pleasure to say that we are back and we doing this thing again visually. Last week we cut up with Sheena Bobina. Shout out to Sheena.
Shout out to Sheena.
That was a whole lot of fun. Shout out to all our contestants too. We're gonna bring that back in the coming week. We got a special Valentine's Day episode coming to y'all. Now, man, I got a guy on my line right now that you see, and I'll be honest with you, man. I don't really know him that well, but I follow him on social media, Instagram particularly, and I have to say, man, you're one of the more fascinating brothers I've ever seen on the subject. Okay, let me read my guy's intro here. Tony from IG. Tony Quanda. Tony from DC says on IG, he is a rap artist from the longest recorded African American family in DC. We're gonna get into that. He has acted in a number of live theater plays and independent films throughout the U.S., one of which was Best Indie Film of the Year. He has performed with the numerous local artists from the Get Down, Level Up, Get Lit, and Boom events at venues here in Taiwan. That's Taipei. We're going to get into that because we are geographically ignorant. Okay. Some major venues in Taiwan. Shout out to the Triangle, Pipe, Looptopia Festival, and the Red Room. Serves as a public speaker, event facilitator, and host MC for Vibe Taiwan, a youth group facilitating community conversations about cultural awareness and empathy, which we all use in this day and time. Today, you can find Tony stages with his free-flowing beats, pulsating poetry, and dope dance moves. And did I mention the brother is in Taiwan? Everybody give a warm welcome to Tony. My guy, Tony Quanda, Tony from DC said.
Yeah.
I know him.
How you doing? Thank you. Man, blessings.
First and foremost, like, we talked about this before we went on air, but it is 7 a.m. where we are, which means it's
early
where you are.
Good morning.
And let me tell you, everything about this brother feels futuristic. Okay.
In Taiwan, it's 8:03 right now p.m. You know, it's Sunday. We about to go to work tomorrow and everything. We already done had that. But we say good morning. We say Zao An. That's how we say good morning in Mandarin. You know, so Zao An.
Zao An.
We already learning, man. Already learning. Brother, let's get into this, man, because like I said, you fascinate me, dude. I watch you on IG. I automatically gravitated towards you because we're from the same place, obviously. Everybody on this call right now is DC born and bred, and that's an exceptional thing in itself. If you're from DC, Black from DC, in our age group, you know what that means. That's a special time and place that we'll probably never retreat to, or go back to rather. So let's talk about that, man. Let's talk about it. You from DC, around what era, where at? Are your folks still here? So on and so forth. Let's talk about it.
So a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, right? my peoples come from Washington, DC. They've been settled in there, you know, hail to the Redskins, all that, like since forever. My direct mom and dad, like, we came up in Northeast DC by we was in Michigan Park, like around Michigan.
Shout out Michigan Park,
shout out to CUA. You know, they had the big Sean Taylor mural over there, like by the Metro.
For sure.
R4 to get out to the crib and everything with y'all remember the paper transfers on the bus?
Come on.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah.
Come on.
When it used to be before that, it was $1.
Yep.
Right.
And then they added the 10-cent
currency the whole time. It's like, hey, I got 2 of these paper transfers. So let me see that transfer. Let me see that transfer.
Right. What's that date on there?
Transfer 2 years earlier.
We'd be out at Domino's, you know what I mean? Like getting like some of the cheese sticks, something like that. You know, somebody would have like a transfer. I'd be like, all right, you know, 2 cheese sticks for one of them Jones. You know what I mean? Let me get you 2. Trade off real quick. Get you like a nice little ride uptown to do something crazy. But yeah, like
riding all day.
Exactly, right? I came up Bunker Hill Elementary School. Shout out Bunker Hill.
Shout out to Bunker Hill.
That was like really just all black, you know what I'm saying? And me coming from like just kind of knowing all black kids, like maybe met a couple white people in my life.
That's I try to tell folks about the DC that we knew. And tell folks, I say like white people when they landed on DC, it was like alien invasion happened. Didn't know or see them from I'm 84. And so from 84 to about maybe 2001, 2002, when I got ready to go to college, I did not see or befriend white people. It wasn't that I'm not, you know, prejudiced by any means, you know, that loves me. It's just we didn't see white people. They just didn't exist in the chocolate city that we knew. So I feel like our generation is the last of chocolate city. And I'm sorry to interrupt you, brother, but go ahead.
No. I totally feel that. I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? My mom's came up from around the Gallaudet area. And, you know,
shout out to Trinidad.
You know, when like U Street at the trolley, you know what I'm saying? Or Cardozo, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's where she went to. My father, he went to Eastern, you know, in Southeast or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that was different, you know, whole 8th Street corridor and everything too, like coming up. So like, yeah, they really put me on to like, you know, the history, you know, dinosaurs ruled the earth, you know what I'm talking about? Like when
let me ask you, when's the last time you've been home?
You know, you got me thinking now, man. Maybe it's been about like 3 or so years, probably.
Okay.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot has changed, man.
I had a stretch like that when I moved down here to Atlanta.
Man, like I mean, I got peoples in Atlanta. I used to live though in North Carolina, like Raleigh, Cary area, Durham.
Okay. Yeah.
I used to live out in Houston for a little while, like down in Southeast Houston, by T.
Shout out to Houston too, man. I got some homies down in Houston. Shout out to my brother KD. Houston is one of the blackest cities I've ever visited as well. Just the whole vibe, like this is a black ass city. I love it down there, man. Shout out to that screw.
Yeah, shout out to TSU, you know, Texas Southern University. They marching band will come through, like rambling, you know what I'm saying? I lived in Sacramento, California, or Antelope, right outside of Sacramento when Arnold Schwarzenegger was mayor, like a while. You know what I'm saying? Like I lived in some different places, but
so how long have you been in Taiwan?
For about 5 years. It's coming up on 5 years on April Fool's Day. So that's now.
Now, what encouraged that leap?
I've been bouncing around and stuff. I met this girl that like her peoples was from Taiwan. And like it evolved like a long time afterwards into like, let's go like visit and see what's good. But by the time it had evolved into that, we were already in a relationship for like 10 years. And like, we're thinking about moving to a different place because this guy was about to get elected president and we were worried about that. So we was like, it's not looking too good, you know, for where we at. We was living in Kentucky at the time. And we was like, man, you black and I'm Asian and we out here in Kentucky. We making this money, but it don't look too good. And this guy is about to like win this presidency. Hey, why don't we take this money we've been stacking, go take a look at Taiwan. It's cheap out there. You know, I got family out there. Let's just see what's good for like a winter break or something like that. Went out there, lost my mind, came back and was like, yeah, I'm gonna give y'all my 2 weeks. Like, I need to pack my shit up. I need to go because it was just looking like, you know, I have like car payments and like, you know, Netflix, cell phone bill, you know, electricity taxes, property taxes, income taxes, you know, like all these different things. Like I was making like 80,000 a year. I was actually seeing in pocket something more like, you know, 57, maybe less than that, you know, just like a whole bunch of different things. And we were doing well, but in the same token, we were just like, what's the worst that can happen? Like, we got fam out here, so why don't we just come out here, see what's good? Why don't my father was a Spanish teacher for 33 years. He taught at Dunbar Senior High School.
Word up.
Okay.
I went to Dunbar. I was walking in the same hallways with the bro, and like, you know, we would dap each other in the hallway. You know what I'm saying?
You wouldn't recognize Dunbar now, brother. Trust me, you would
at all.
Dunbar
At all.
right now.
The construction, yeah. Feel like play like bass drum and a marching band and everything like that. That's entirely different. But yeah, like, so I always wanted to teach like pops. Like, the apple didn't really fall that far from the tree. So like, I basically came over here like, I can definitely make that happen. She made that happen and did like a bunch of other stuff. Like, she has like a women's shelter that's here right now where she's like empowering people here in Taiwan to feel safe, self-defense, women's circle, talk to each other, like a bunch of different things. And that's where like we came together. We made the Black Lives Matter solidarity rally here. We got like the permits and everything to do that here and to hold that here in Taiwan. We were here at the Taiwan National Museum in front of there. And there was about like 8 different police people, and they were just chilling. Everything was cool. There was a lot of people that showed up, and like, we used her organization, you know, in order to already get that crowd of people and the volunteers to help like pick up trash, organize the stuff, make the t-shirts, you know, make sure that like we had events scheduled and everything like lined up. It just went all beautifully, and like, there was no violence, there was no, you know, crazy whatever that happened. Like, everything was great. On top of that, we Taiwanese people that are indigenous Taiwanese people. So here's a little bit of geography. So like, we right off of China, you know, kind of like how like Puerto Rico, you know, Jamaica is like right off of the United States.
Right off of US.
Sure.
But we right off of China, kind of like that, maybe a little bit far, but same type of thing. But the thing is, like, Taiwanese people was here, kind of like how Native Americans was in America. So people just came through and was like, you going to this going to be your language, shut up, stop speaking your language. So there's still people that like are indigenous, you know, like the Native Americans and the Native Taiwanese people that still like know their stuff or whatever, or their grandparents still speak or whatever. But they was like shunned from saying that stuff in school and like still doing it to this day. Whereas like Taiwanese is like kind of coming back, whereas people started to accept it more. But it's just been like, for the most part, the past 20, 30, 40 years, like, for what? Go away. You know,
has a volume of the indigenous Taiwanese people, have they moved away? Do they tend to stay in Taiwan? How does that work?
No, for the most part, they've been like staying, and they've been like nurturing like their culture and their language, and really trying to show people, just like how Black people have been, or Native Americans back home, like how they are and who they are today and where they came from. You know, and it's real. So during the BLM solidarity rally in Taiwan, we had a segment with them where they were like, we understand and we totally stand in solidarity because we understand your struggle. Because people come over here and tell us, y'all need to speak Mandarin Chinese. And we're like, who are y'all? And like, y'all were on both stuff. And I'm sorry about that, but it's like, we understand that. We were just chilling here in our land. And they were like, no, this is our land now. And now you speak Mandarin. So you shut up, stop speaking that language, or we won't like do this and this and this. And they had like wars against the Japanese where they would take the native Taiwanese people, and the Chinese would put them against the Japanese on the front lines. Oh, wow. Like, you remember like Glory, like the movie, you know what I'm saying? What's his name?
Denzel.
Yeah. Morgan Freeman. Yeah.
That classic, that one tear coming out of Denzel.
Like that. It's like, so that's what they're like. Yeah, we went through that too. So like, we stand in solidarity for you. We really appreciate that, like, y'all are bringing awareness to like your situation, because we need to end the same type of discrimination all over the world of just indigenous people. Just let people be people. Stop trying to squash people out. And you know, so it's cool. We're making things like, you know, happen out here.
That's one thing I definitely wanted to touch on with you, man, because I know this melanin, this skin right here, impacts culture wherever we go. Wanted to talk about, one, how the native culture there has impacted you, but also how you've been able to impact the culture there. Like I said, you're a musician, and you're pretty dope on the mic skills. You're pretty dope on the dance floor. How has Taiwan's culture impacted you?
It's really made me a bit more like present, like in terms of paying attention to where people are coming from. Really seeing that, like, not only are we in a bubble sometimes of like being DC people around DC people, because then you step outside into like Maryland, Virginia, and they're DMV people, but they act different. And then you step outside there, you go to California, and you're like, what is this, man? This family. And then you go to this whole different place where, you know, they just think and accept different things on so many different levels out here that it really has me on some like watching and listening to people a whole lot more. Whereas like back home, it was a bit more like, I already know what this whole situation is. Let me just throw my stuff out there. Let me express myself. Let me make sure I get mine in. Because, you know, closed mouth don't get fed. But it's different out here. It's like Taiwan has affected me in a way where it's given me like a lot of peace and a lot of like kind of a stronger mindset in terms of really appreciating like the time that is right here and present, and like how my life is entirely different right now, or like things that I can appreciate here that I never would have really thought of, you know, being back in the States. And that's huge.
All right. And now, conversely, how have you impacted the culture there?
Here, I'm teaching in my pop's footsteps. So I'm basically taking kids between the age of like 4 or 5, all the way up to my oldest student is like 44. And all these different, like we go on field trips, and like you see my Instagram stories. We just took them out picking strawberries the other day, and like we made jam in this big thing. Like we just, you know, we go like hiking. We do different obstacle courses and stuff, and like in the class we have a whole lot of different things too, where like we can really get these kids to express themselves and like think about where other people are coming from, expressing that empathy, but like, you know, still being like a teacher. But it's kind of easy, like what I do. Like it is hard to like teach, but I basically just chill and just joke with these little kids all day, but show them like, hey, you know that you can just appreciate people for like who they are, and like they really grasp that, and then they give it to other stuff. And then the whole thing, I'm not saying is like with the melanin, like I'm an ambassador for like all Black people. So it's like me showing them like, excuse me, like this is what I look like. And my hair is like, you know, crazy like this. They call me like voz alto. It means literally like explosion head or explosion hair. It's like, y'all make fun of me or whatever, but it's cool. Like I could take that. Like, you know, if I started to make fun of you, like you would feel real interesting, you know what I mean? Like, cause you know, I can get the Joan it. Like I'll fire your little out. It's like, them shoes up, you don't even want me to get started. But just think about it.
DC still in you. DC still in you.
It's like, look, I'm very nice, but think about it before.
So it has to be like, you know, other folks in Taiwan that aren't your students. You still have to have that sort of, I guess, novelty appearance to them. What has that been like when you first, you know, started walking the streets in Taipei, particularly? What was that like, man?
You know, I'm constantly in between, like, keep my head on the swivel, and like, you know, the same DC isms, like just making sure somebody ain't trying to jack me or rob me, or like, you know, just making sure somebody ain't doing something stupid. But it's so safe out here, so I'm starting to do that less. I'm starting to feel soft. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not really paying attention to
what is crime like out there?
It's like
what is crime like? Really?
Crime is like domestic disputes, like give me my shirt back. Like crime is like, yeah, like there was somebody that was fighting out here the other night, and it was of course all in Mandarin, so it's like I only understood a little bit. It's like from inside, it's all muffled, so it sounded like this man was like, "Give me the yoga mat, give me the yoga mat." Like what it is,
like for the yoga mats.
It's entirely different, but I couldn't take them seriously because that's why I kept hearing yelling out the window, "Give me the yoga mat. Give me the yoga mat."
Is there American influence like media, right? So if you turn on the TV or turn on the radio, or is there any American influence there that you would turn on a station and hear them speaking in English? Or you're closer to England and Europe as a whole, is there any of that influence there?
That's a really good question. I mean, honestly, from my Taiwanese friends, from my students and different people out here, there seems to be only really movies and some music influences in the lives of the locals that are here. Most of whatever media they consume is of Taiwan and around like sports or something like that. Sometimes like there'll be a lot of different fans that are out here that'll be peeping like,
how you doing this morning?
But that's about it. Like kind of like they'll know LeBron, they'll know, different people like Steph Curry or whatever, but they won't really know, Samuel L. Jackson, or they won't really know Will Smith, or, even Michael B. Jordan. You know what I mean? Like just so they just know certain black people, say for instance, and even that with like white people. You know what I'm saying? They for real, like the Taiwanese people here, they're just like, man, these white people, they just look the same. It's just like, you know what I mean? Like certain ones will stick out, but they're just like, what? Man, the names are different, so they're just like, I don't even remember. It's like, oh yeah, this guy in this movie.
But they know the king, they know LeBron, they know King James.
Exactly.
I'm sure of
it. No, let's talk about music, man, because you are a musician, as I alluded to earlier. I see you on IG. Like I said, I'm going to put your IG name on the screen so folks can follow you too.
Appreciate that.
You get down, man, in these nightclubs in Taipei, and it looks like, from DC looking in, it just looks like a whole nother world that this guy is navigating and wielding the crowds. And I don't even know if they understand everything that you're saying to them, but they are into you, man.
It's all of it. Yeah, and I appreciate that because, like, yeah, sometimes I'll just look out and there'll just be all these faces and they'll just be smiling. But even still with that, some of these smiling faces just be like, what?
What?
Still, it's a lot of fun. The same token too, there's some pretty vicious Taiwanese rappers that are rapping Mandarin out here, and they'll take the stage and give me some influence. They give me some energy. I get my energy off of the crowd. I get my energy off of having like a lot of different performance experience out here under my belt. Moving with these people like Brandon Thompson, his Diamonds, BT on IG. Like he's been performing out here for like more than a decade, and he can sing in English and in Mandarin, and he can do, like a little bit of rap and like can introduce stuff in Mandarin. And I'm like, I want to be like that guy. And like his, band is like one of the best bands that I play with directly. And it's so cool to like, I come from playing in go-go bands when I was like 16. I used to play like the congos, a little bit of timbales, and just the percussion, you know what I mean? And like doing that and just hopping on like as a hype man or like as a lead talker or whatever, and then coming into playing with this professional band that gets like all these gigs for like these wonderful weddings, these extravagant, ordeals, a professional band, and they rock into you and they following you. And when you do like this, they stop. And when you slowly do like this, they fucking bring it up. Like they follow you. It's like, what? Like, it's just, it's like, I've already worked with like people in a go-go band that I went to school with, you know what I'm saying? We would roll up together and all that. And like, we would have miscommunications, and I'm working with these professionals out here, and like it just makes it so much easier for me to jump out there and be crazy and improvise. And they've seen like get up on stage and do my thing and rock with the crowd, and then be like, what's over here? And like jump off of the stage, interact with the crowd a little bit, and start to like rap about like what's in the area and like what's in the avenue. They're already used to on the stage. Once I start to do that, that's going to be at least 8 counts, like 16 bars for them to initiate their different solos. They'll get to the saxophone solo. This dude will get on bass after that. And they just know like he's about to come back. I can see him. He's making his rounds and he's about to finish his verse. Right. And then we just, we dip into what we do it. Like, My man
That's
Brandon,
amazing, man.
other artists, like they have the same type of dynamic with me, but it really is like um, here go another Mandarin word. The guanchi. The guanchi is like that energy, that unpracticed, but y'all just got this sync when you go together. Like playing
That
space for
vibe.
somebody first time, and y'all get all the books. Like playing, you know what I'm saying? 2-on-2 with somebody up to 21 or 33 with somebody, and y'all just get like, 21 to like 9. You know what I mean?
That's a
Y'all
beautiful
just
thing, man. I did want to ask you about that. It seems like you have found a sort of hive there, a sort of an affinity group or people that you can easily or seemingly easily related to. Let's talk about that, man. What is the community like for you? Are there other it sounds like there's other brothers there, other melanated people there as well. Talk about your community there.
We got an assortment of people, some, New York, various different parts of like America, New Zealand, of course, people that are Taiwanese and local, like all these different people are like, say, singers or rappers, these different recording artists that will work together to make different tracks together, or in ciphers, like we'll work together and hand off, and like we all kind of know or have known of each other, and then just flow in the same circles in and out. So it's just kind of it's just a thing. It's something where we exist in this really safe bubble where like we know that like there's no like heavy competition. We're not rap battling each other. We're not saying like that dude sucks. We're just like here and like doing our thing, participating in different parties, livening stuff up. You know what I'm saying? And like sometimes like some people really being serious about like making a concept, trying to like throw out a video or whatever. And it's real cool to like be around all these different creatives, these people that some of them are teachers like me, some of them they do their own things, and get into like say one of my men, Sam, he's from New Zealand. He gets into like graphic design and stuff like that, as well as making his own stickers and t-shirts. But all these different ciphers, he's always there doing this and connecting these different people. He has a song that's like in half Mandarin with this artist, this local artist, Mellow Moon. It's amazing. The video is dope. Like, so there's just too many people that in this small world, as you know, with like DC, it's that type of city. Like Taipei, where I live, is the capital city of Taiwan. Same type of thing. I basically live in the same type of scenario where it's like, if you out there and you're doing stuff on the scene, you keep it on a regular basis, people know about you and you get connected with the other people that are in those circles and stuff like super fast. So we all just kind of make like a tight knit community of mostly like expats making like a family, like a home away from home, if you will.
Yeah. You see energy, man. I feel like one thing about us brothers, we take that energy wherever we are. And it's sort of a confidence that I don't find in people from other places. There's a sort of a confidence in us that we take everywhere we go, man. I think it's dope what you're doing. I think it's super bold and fearless that you even took that leap to go over. Because like you said, I know brothers that have not left the block. They've never made it outside of DC bounds. They just don't have any intention to go. And you talk to them and they're very isolated and insular. And then you talk to a brother like yourself who has left the block but knows what the block is and has taken a positive energy out into the world. So man, I want to make sure we highlighted that and showed our audience particularly, man, there are different variations of brothers out here in the world, not just in America, in the world, and we're trying to be upwardly mobile and doing our thing, man. So I just want to show mad respect and I commend you for doing that, brother.
I appreciate it. I want to quickly kick off of that real quick. I just want to say like one experience that I had like a minute ago that gave me this like idea of even being able to go into a different place and like be like a brother in some other place that somebody else could see was when I was at Dunbar, I had the chance to go live in Denmark for a year. So I lived out in Europe for a year because the school had a program that was sponsored by this group in DC called like Youth for Understanding, like YFU. And I think they're still there. Like we need to push more. We need to get like our young Black boys and girls like into looking at organizations like this, their parents looking at this organization, and like I need to like try and boost stuff like that, and like, you know, tell different people, hey, like this is something that you could potentially do. And then from there, you know, as an adult, I was like, why don't I go venture out and then potentially even think about, you know, living somewhere else? Why would you ever do that if you never even had the chance to leave the States in the first place? You know, you got to make those baby steps. So it's like I went out and I had that chance to like do that beforehand. So when I got older, it's like, oh yeah, of course I could go to a different country, but maybe now that I'm like that much, you know, further ahead in the game, maybe I could think about living there. And then
yeah. I got about 5 passport stamps, and 2 of them are in the same place, the same damn country. Shout out to Jamaica. I love you, Jamaica.
I think that's my only stamp right there, Jamaica.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Well, you know, after COVID, we're gonna change that, and so that
absolutely,
that definitely is a good segue, man, because you know, obviously that's the elephant in the world right now, not even the room, as the elephant on this rock of earth right now, man. What is the situation where you are for COVID? It feels like you guys are in sort of a post-pandemic society right now.
Basically, the pandemic never really did anything to us out here. We didn't really have too many deaths out here, and we locked down the island for the most part really quickly and monitored and took procedures very specifically to, you know, take anybody that's going in and out and make sure that we could do like absolutely nothing. We just had like a good close to like 170 days or something like that of like 0 cases. And then some some delightful person came through the airport the other day. So like we had to, you know, take some situations, but it's like it's taken care of. Like it's not like, and then we have 20 cases now. Whatever, it's that 1 case, nobody died. That person's found, they're being treated. Everything's still the same. People wear masks and stuff, and they've been wearing masks since way before coronavirus. So like for me, I'm not really used to like thinking about a mask in any type of way other than like what I had to get adjusted to like 5 years ago. So I already had the kickstart on that to just start to like, you know, all the time on the bus, all the time on the MRT or the metro. And like in some places, even on foot, like if you are going through little malls or like little convenience stores and stuff like that, you have to have a mask on, or they could give you like a fine of, I don't know, something like $300 American or something like that.
Man, isn't that such a novel idea, man? Actually taking care of your community and doing something about it. Isn't that such a novel idea? You hear that, America?
Right.
Well, I mean, these people out here are, I mean, I told you about like the indigenous Taiwanese people, and that's a small part of like most of Taiwan, I feel. But like there are a lot of people that are out here that are like from China, and they don't really care about their history or whatever. They just feel like we are the same people and nobody better or worse. Like, do your best, don't be an idiot, and like let's get this together. And everybody holds together like a chain. Wow. And they still judge each other and make fun of each other like, you know, you and I would or whatever. But the communities out here, their healthcare system, like everything that you think of, they take care of each other. They don't bamboozle anybody. The crime, even when it comes down to financial stuff like embezzlement and trade and different stuff like that, there's not really too much of that either. Like police departments and federal bureaus out here are kind of bored. They don't really have like too many, you know, big and stuff to get to.
That's a good problem to have, let me tell you.
Right. Exactly. There's a lot of stuff that's happening out here, but Taiwan has just been this small place instead of China. Like all these people, it's like this small island where like all of us have like a lot of really good stuff going on, and we're like, we want to keep it that way. And like most of the foreigners too, and like most of them have to learn, but most of the foreigners that are still here after like all this time of like coronavirus going on and they haven't gone back home, they are already hipped. They're already hip to the whole program, and they're just like, this ain't my house. Let me just
respect. Nice. Let me ask you this, man, and this is another question out of just pure ignorance, man. What is the wildest thing you've eaten since you've been there? And expound on that. What is like your daily diet regimen like? What do you get out there?
Man, both very interesting questions. I've gone through like everything. I can't even tell you. Okay, what about have you ever had pig's blood before?
Pig's blood? That's a big no for me.
What is that? A drink?
I don't even eat pork.
What is that, like Chick-fil-A sauce? You dip your French fries in it? What's going on?
Please mess with the ham, Sam. Yeah. All right. I came here at first. I was just like, I just need to go to McDonald's all the time because all this other food look weird. Yeah, this stuff is. I know McDonald's, so I know everything on this item. It's all in Chinese. So I know everything on this item. And like, I was like, I used to work at McDonald's. Like I know all these items. And then started to branch out. Started to go to these little like lunchbox places. You know, that little box of some rice.
Bento box.
You know? Yeah, exactly. Some type of, vegetables, some type of mystery meat, and whatever. that's what it started to get me because like those things are kind of cheap. They'll cost like a 70 NT. That's equivalent it's like $2, for like a little bento box, right? So you just grab one of those. It's real cheap. Be nice and tasty. Put just some pepper, some hot sauce, someone. It's like it's all banging. It's all fire, And then once you start eating all that stuff, it's like, what did you eat? And you're like, I don't know. And then you just start to eat whatever is there because there's a whole lot of food that kind of tastes the same, but it has like different textures. Like kind of the difference between like, say, broccoli and like string beans or whatever. They're different, but it's like they're both kind of vegetables,
Yeah. And you're not vegan. You're not vegan.
Nah, I try to focus on like, heavy like greens, a lot of rice and stuff, and like fish and like eggs. I don't really try to eat too much red meat. I love me some steak, but I try to stay away from it. But it's like a whole lot of the food out here for real is pork. They do really love their pork out here, and the pork out here is really, really good, and it doesn't like weigh you down like the pork I would have back home. Sure. I would eat it. It would feel like sweaty and nasty. I would feel like you are what you eat. But apparently the pigs out here are great. It's like they pork a lot out here, and not intentionally. It's just the school that I teach at. Like I eat there at least like twice a day. So I have like 2 meals that they're already given to the kids that I'll eat as well. So they make sure that like I'm fed, and I can just choose not to eat it, but I'll just have whatever. And some days it'll look fried. Some days it'll look like just I don't know, sauteed or something like that. And I'll be like, so what is this? And one of the kids will be like, pork. And then the next day I'm like, what is this meat? And they're like, pork. I'm like, is this chicken? I'm like, no, teacher, it's pork. Like, it's almost like the same.
It made me think about Chris Rock when he's on that movie. He's like, I want some duck.
Oh man. But yeah, I have a lot of I feel though like I eat a lot healthier out here. I feel like it's harder to get a lot of like junk foods and stuff. Food is cheaper, and I actually have like a kitchen here. I'm actually in a real interesting situation now. Like I'm in like a 5-bedroom apartment with 2 balconies. So like this is very different from most apartments in Taiwan. That's like the biggest most people have is like a 2-bedroom or like 3. They have like a baby or something. But it'll be some situations where like 2 kids will be like sleeping in the same bedroom, because dad in 1 bedroom, 2 kids were in, grandma in the other one, or grandma and grandpa in the other one. And it's a lot of struggle. Families living in the same house.
Yeah. Let's talk about the finances, man. What do a lot of people do? What's the job, the go-to? Like, from DC and growing up in DC, it seemed like every adult we knew had either a government job or a nonprofit, or they work for a law firm. So like what do people do there for money, and who would you say has the highest paid job there?
I'm one of many English teachers. We get paid, my math not so good right now. We get paid anywhere from like a low like 500 NT to 1,000 NT an hour. 1,000 NT is $30. So like $15 to $30 an hour. With that, on average, most teachers work on a low 20 hours. So they can do the full like 40 or so. Most people work 25 hours a week. We don't really work that much. We get paid. and our rent is normally anywhere from like 200 to like, for real expensive, like $500, $600 a month, and that's including like internet, water, and shit. So like it's pretty cheap, you know, to live, and especially if you're working in a job that's giving you that like 15 to 30, you know, guaranteed, gives you vacation, all that stuff. It's real easy to just come up and like do whatever, have some extra spare time to like make a stamp collection, you know, start to, you know, start to like really get something going, make your own private business, actually invest your time in that and make that happen. You have a steady, you know, thing behind you that you can have, you know, healthcare and like government benefits off of, because you would have, you know, an actual career, like a job here, like an identification card here, ARC, alien resident card, to be out here and exist. Like you have your own ID. It's kind of like a green card if you were to be like in the United States type of thing. So yeah, like that's a main thing. I mean, people do a whole bunch of other stuff that are foreigners. Say for instance, like you and I, like we could do like editing jobs, like different things like this, like broadcast and such. But most jobs that are here, you know, of course you have to speak Mandarin. And there are jobs where most everything you do would be in English. However, you still need to speak to people that will be your boss or whoever in Mandarin,
right?
And like business and all that stuff. So that's the place where, you know, I'm trying to up my equity, you know, make myself more valuable by trying to get into these classes and really like learning a lot more Mandarin. That is like a super, super difficult thing to do, but like I'm getting there.
Write it? Can you write?
Small bits, like certain symbols I have, like certain symbols I recognize because it's art. It's the best way I can really do it. You know,
I talk to people, they say it's easier to learn how to speak it than it is to read and write it, for sure.
Most definitely, for sure. And like even to speak it is kind of difficult because you got to focus on the tones. If you slip up on the tones, you're saying something like entirely
totally different. Yeah.
Wow.
What's the?
I could say like calling my mother, you know, I'd be like, Mom, and like, you really want to say, Ma, mama, you want to say it like that? Because if you say Ma, then that's a horse.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
You know, there's certain things that, you know what I mean? So like me, I'm really expressive. I'll play with tones like that, you know, in English. So like if my mom drops something or she stepped on my foot or something like that, scuffed my shoes, I'll be like, Ma, you know, and they'll be or a horse, you know, I get slapped in the face, you know. So like everything that you say has to be pushed in that same type of way that you are taught. If you don't say the correct tones, your whole sentence will come out like kind of funky and people just don't get you.
So what's the economy like out? My bad. I'm sorry. What's the economy like out there? Because it doesn't sound like capitalism is the thing. I'm sorry to jump back to the whole, you know, financial part.
Taiwan, okay, say for instance, like the major products that they push out are like HTC, you know, the cell phone company. That's from here.
Okay.
They have really high GDP. And there's two other ones. There's some other, I can't remember the name of it, but some like computer chip type of like, it's like electrical, like software. Hardware that they make. And some other thing that they export that's here. And they do very well with that. But the whole thing is like, there's a whole lot of people that basically make just enough really to get by. And it's not like everybody's living in like a third world country type of thing, but it is a situation where if you are not someone that has like a degree or really try to push to get like a really good job, then you are living with, you know, your parents and your grandparents and taking care of them, and you're just working a whole lot, and you just like smoke cigarettes and drink and like go home and take care of your parents. Like that's your life.
Oh wow.
Like, so that's what a lot of people do. And like if you make that money, you get like a little nanny or something like that to take care of you or whatever. You go live your life. But it's like, it's tough. I don't really know too many of the locals that are really successful, but it seems like they work in different types of finance and trade. And Bitcoin is real like exciting to a lot of people out here. There's a lot of people that like to talk about their investments in Bitcoin, and like a number of different opportunities that have come up, and like different names that are really, you know, popping up on the scene that people are trading in, and like the people that are really living and like paying their rent, buying like food and stuff off of Bitcoin out here and just trading.
That DOGE is going crazy right now on the stock.
Bitcoin. Yeah.
Me a little bit. Look, I feel like I put $5 in. I feel like I'm gonna be rich next week or something.
I mean, do it. It's better than them scratch offs was. You know what I'm saying?
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
So okay. Let's get a little grimier. I'm heavy into the cannabis culture. It's no secret, and I don't really care who knows. It's not a drug in my eyes. It's medicine. What is the culture like there for cannabis?
Cannabis is a class 2 drug. It is strongly advised not to use it. Anyone watching this broadcast, do not engage in this.
We definitely don't want to incriminate you either, brother. We definitely don't want to incriminate you. I'm just curious for my own knowledge in case I make it one day.
I mean, it's definitely out here. You know, people's chilling and stuff. You got to be connected with some of the right people, and you got some good connections. Like, you always good, and that's basically the whole thing. Like, it was already a weird type of situation out here. Then coronavirus happened, and then after that, it was just like even more strenuous and crazy to do different stuff. It's different. Like, if you're in the States, you got surplus, you got dispensaries and stuff. You know, these laws that are put into place to like help you out federally. Out here, like, nah, this is a class 2, da 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 da. So stuff was already, and then coronavirus, and it was like, what are you doing? And
knock it all down.
When it's like, it's corn. I swear it's corn. It's corn.
That's interesting. That's interesting. Oh, that's good to know. It's good to know. I don't want to get jammed up in a place looking foul. Okay, so that's a good question. Let me ask you this: do you ever venture into China much?
I used to, a minute ago. Like, for real, this is the longest I have been in Taiwan without leaving. I used to bounce in and out of the country every 3 months just to check something out. We'll go to like Korea, go to China, go to Macau, Philippines, like Japan, just so many different places that are just around, because we're basically around all that stuff, chilling, you know what I mean? Like, so with that, China has been a place where Taiwan kind of doesn't like that place a lot. And I can understand why. They're kind of bullying them and all this, but it's like, the people out there are just regular ass people, like, they're just normal people that are not really interested in a fight. So I go out there and I may like shop and like hang out and stuff, but China is a lot like the States, where there's a whole bunch of stuff that's available. There's a whole lot of colors and different varieties of stuff, but a lot of stuff is expensive. And I'm spoiled out here in Taiwan. Taiwan is kind of like, say, living out in the Midwest or something. Like, stuff is cheaper. Living down south, like when I was in Houston, I would go down to HEB all the time and get some real nice prices on some, stuff that you get at Food Line, a Safeway, but it would just be more expensive because you're in DC.
Mm-hmm.
Why? This is milk. Why? So it's like, there's certain things I'll go out to China for, this sounds crazy, but I do the same thing with Japan. Japan, like, I like it, it's cool, but it's expensive. I go out there for like tabby shoes, like they have like the one toe and like the rest of it is like one thing. I had the little mama signs make them for me or whatever, and like, give me 1 second. Let me show you what I'm talking about.
This is dope. Of course, I got I'm in the basement, so I got all types of furnace background noise and all types of stuff going on back here.
The tabby shoes.
Listen.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
man.
These are the tabby shoes.
I will rock down. That's wild. That is wild. How much does that run you?
Oh.
These ones was like 50. But these ones, I had to have them made for me because like my feet are so big. You know what I'm saying? They don't really make tabbies for big feet people.
I was just about to say they probably don't have those in my size.
You think so? Like, These Jones, I have black and I have white ones. And the white ones, of course, they got like a little bit dirty. But I painted the white ones all red, so they blood red. So I had these blood red. And you can see them in my Instagram. That's one of the pictures. But I got like these blood red like ninja shoes. You know, I go out there like I'm like yelling at people and jumping off stage and like rapping with them and like bouncing at the same time with these red ninja shoes. I'm like, I'm in my robe, my best, with no shirt on, just vibing. I'm all sweating and stuff, and they're just like, "What? What is happening?"
I see the drip. I always see the drip. I always recognize the drip when I get on your IG stories. That's dope, man. Talk about that culture impacting you, man. Yeah, that's drip right there.
It's fun.
Fascinated by Tokyo, man. I really want to get to Tokyo one day in Japan. It just seems like they are about 40 years ahead of everybody else in technology and fashion.
Yeah.
Have you been to Tokyo?
Yeah. It is kind of like that. I mean, we all kind of on the same page, but the whole other thing too is like just the whole mentality. You know what I mean? What I really found a lot of places in Asia is even though like people from the Philippines is different from Taiwan, or people in Taiwan different Japanese different from Koreans in these different ways, they all have this commonality of like we all have to like stick together. You know what I'm saying? We gotta be family, we gotta be principles. I feel like Americans are a bit more about the principle of freedom. Like leave me alone, let me do what I want to do. Like don't tell me how to think or like where to go.
Right. Rugged individualism is what they call it.
I'm gonna figure out right or wrong for me as an individual. I'll tell you what's right or wrong. You don't tell me. I'll tell you. You know,
regardless of fact, regardless of any facts. Like despite the facts, this is my opinion.
Sure, because like I gotta go to sleep with me. You don't have to go to sleep. I have to live with this. So it's like I understand both mentalities, and I have the ability to like. I mean, I can code switch speaking English. I can code switch a little bit speaking Mandarin now. My dad was Spanish teacher. I got Spanish, but now I can like code switch mentalities. Sometimes I'll be like, you know, I'll talk to Americans and I'll understand like a whole lot of their mentality, no matter where they're from, like in the States. Like I can kind of lock in on something where we have a commonality. And I'm like, okay, I got you. You my bro, you my sis, I got you. And then I'll start speaking with somebody that's like from Taiwan or like from the Philippines or something. And I just have to kind of, you know, clear my stuff and be like, okay, we need to do this. We need to do the right thing. We all need to do this. This needs to be the point. It's either this or that, because this is not the way that things are done, right? You know, we always sit the oldest person at the table first, right? Or we always, you know, let them taste the food, serve them the first, or, you know, just certain rules culturally that are here. That if you don't do them right, it's like, this wasn't done right, right? And it's like, that's more of the focus than looking at somebody as an individual and what they feel in their soul. I have to be like constantly telling people to chill out on both sides, because they'll just be like, why did he? And I'm just trying to tell them like, hey, you know, he's more.
Yeah, it's definitely, man. Our priorities are all messed up in the Western world. We are definitely individual over community, and that is biting us in the butt right now as we speak. Tony, I don't want to hold you too much longer, man. I really appreciate you doing this with me, brother.
Yeah.
You'll have to figure out, man. I'm gonna send you some of my merch. You send me a pair of them shoes in the size 9.5, brother. We're gonna figure out all the shipping madness and whatnot. I tried to shout out to the homegirl Pay in Amsterdam. I sent her a sweatshirt, and they caught it at customs, and they charged her a whole nother $40 because it looked like a commercial item. And I tried my best to make it look like I was just sending it, you know, as a friend from the States. This wasn't a commercial item that she bought, but they caught her stuff at customs and pretty much charged her $40 just to get it, you know, country. But we're gonna figure this out, man. You know, I definitely want to give me a pair of them jumps, man. I won't be the only dude in DC rocking.
Word up.
Word up, though.
I mean, definitely. Let me get you. I'm gonna get you some dope stuff. It's like I need to be on the prowl for it out here to make sure that like I get some local stuff popping and like send out some of these different pictures to my people back home and be like, look, I can pick this up down the street from me. Would you like to, you know, be on this type of like gear? Cause there's a whole bunch of different stuff. Like I kind of want to like flip some of my friends back home. Like they already have their own like style. Like I mean, you know, DC like with a black shirt, you know, some jeans on, something like that. But like you say, for instance, they rock with the tabbies. If you got like the size 9 or whatever, your foot exactly the right size to go with some skinnies, a black shirt, and some tabbies. It's like it don't even matter what color they are. That joint is fresh. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm with it. I'm not afraid to look like something different out in these streets. I never have been. So let's definitely make that happen, man. Tony, it's been an extreme pleasure, brother. Before I do wanna get your opinion on something. I'm gonna put a picture up in the post edits because I don't have the picture ready right now. There's a news story about this woman who has gorilla glued her head to her head.
She got the shiny jump.
Yeah, she tried them edges, and she ran out of the regular jail and started using Gorilla Glue. And it is the story of the day, week, I don't know, moment. Has that story made it to Taiwan? Obviously it had. I mean, through the internet. What's your take on that, Tony?
Hey, I think it's hilarious. I think she goes like, bless her heart. But Taiwan memes, they're a little interesting. Like, it's funny you say, it's like there's a whole lot of Bama's out. They look like the what is the Vince Young meme? The jump where he has like the little question marks. It's like the that
Nick Young,
Swaggy P.
Yeah. They're like, are you that dude? I'm like, no. Like, it's like that meme was like 6 years old? No, 4. It's old. You know,
it's like old now. Yeah. You still get it though.
Yeah, but like, I want to like get into that. They're just starting to be like, "Hey, are you this guy?" And it's like, y'all, like, are y'all gonna start to be like, "Do you know the way?" And like different stuff, like,
right?
And I eat it up. I'll be like, yeah. I tell every other person, I'd be like, yeah, that's me. Hell yeah.
Posting all your pictures.
Man. But no, I just, you know, that whole Gorilla Glue incident, I just want to put a PSA out there. Like, it's not that serious. It's never that serious, y'all. I got a daughter. She's 10 years old, and so that means she's prone to doing stupid shit, right? We were all and so she's done some stupid shit. I'm trying to think of something off the top of my head, but essentially she's 10 years old. The woman, the Gorilla Glue girl, is 40 years old.
40 years old.
She was 40.
She's 40 years old and making those mistakes. Say, like, it's never that serious. You know, I see a lot of the women. I think it's funny when the ladies glue eyelashes to their eyelids. I think it's a wild phenomenon. Honestly, I don't get it, man. I know they have their beauty standards and they do it for them to make themselves feel good, and that's great. Blessings to you. And don't understand it genuinely. I would love to have someone come on the podcast and talk about it and his pain and all that. But god dang, man, I mean, Slim was in the ER yesterday, and because they couldn't do nothing for it. It's like, all right, we're gonna rub some alcohol on this and see what happens.
But before she got to the ER, did you see her homegirl rubbing the acetone on her hair, trying to get it off, and it got in her eyes?
Yeah,
like.
It's too much going on. It's too much going on. Take care of yourself. Love yourself. But when I see that, as a man, it says to me that there is a piece of you missing. There's a piece of you that is void, and you're trying to fill it with all of these things, right? Things we buy to cover up what's inside. That's what Kanye said. When Kanye, shout out to the old Kanye. But that's really what I get when I see that, man. And I would, like I said, I would love somebody to come on the show and enlighten us about beauty standards in 2021, because that is
people just whatever, you know, they just be doing whatever is like new under the sun, you know, just to see what it will be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there ain't no rhyme or reason. Just people just doing.
God. Is there a beauty trend out there in Taipei? Is there a beauty trend out there that you look at and you're just like, what is that?
That's a good question. I mean, most of these don't be looking like the same. They be on that, like, I have to look just like this one thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, they got some like interesting, you know, like things out here. You know what I'm saying? Like it's we about to have some pool parties. You'll see. Like keep stay tuned.
Tune in.
It's gonna be live. It's gonna be, but it's like, man, we about to be on some pool party stuff in the next couple of weeks. Like wintertime is basically over for us, and they just be out here just like all looking the same. Everybody that like we would say is like skinny, they're like, you too fat. And like people will actually have like curves and stuff like that, but the ones that have curves, like they'll be like more into hip hop and stuff like that, and they'll be like self-conscious because people like criticize them and like, oh, you too fat, you just try and make yourself look all American for these foreigners or whatever. And they give them, you know, shit. And then they'll just be like, all right, cool. And then they end up normally hanging out with like foreigners and loving their life, you know, like enjoying and just like doing whatever. And it's like, it's kind of like high school. It's like kind of just those certain cliques that you see. It's not really too much of a variance, especially since the borders done close off. Now it's just like you see the same type of people. You see locals that just mess with locals. You see foreigners, and you see locals that mess with foreigners. And like that's all of Taiwan basically, especially like in this city. But it's a whole lot of fun. It's a whole bunch of like, you know, love and stuff. There's a whole lot of opportunities to be had, gentlemen. Like I'm trying to get people to come out here for real. Like come visit, come move out this jump for real.
Post Rona, man. I there's so much I want to do post Rona, right? And that started like when I hit the lottery, you know. But Rona, man. I mean, I'm outside, brother, and so we gonna make it. It might not be next year, it might be not be the year after that, considering what's going on, but it's gonna happen one of these days, and I'm definitely gonna hit you up when I do, man. Is there an event or is there a time of year that you would say you got to come for this thing?
Nah, it's always busy all the time out here. Like especially September, like it doesn't snow, it's too hot, so it's just always every single weekend is like some event, some type of thing. Somewhere. Like I had to get over the whole feeling of like missing out on like some big event that would come through, because the next weekend there'll be another big event that will come through. There's so many different clubs and establishments, and like since we have our stuff and our standards real set, everybody just lets us do stuff because it's safe. So it's just like, man, my man,
that's like another question to me, man. Like, do American artists tour there?
Oh, I'm sorry, you said what?
Do American artists, do they tour there? Is that a tour stop for American artists?
Yeah, for a couple, but like I've only really seen like a lot of like EDM artists out here. There are a couple like bands, you know, like more pop or like rock that come out here. Rap artists from China will come out here, or Korea or whatever. Like, do you remember this dude named like Rich Brian or Rich Chigga?
I've seen Rich Chigga, yeah. I've seen it because of the controversy around it. Yeah.
Right. So he will come through here because like, you know, we neighbors, you know what I'm saying? But like that's kind of it. Like Taiwan, I wish that we had like more artists like show interest and like bouncing out here. All the artists that have come through here, there was just an article the other day where the singer from Australia was like, everything was wonderful, I love their standards. And this other lady from England said the same thing. But I guess, you know, think about the artists, like they really want to make sure that they have like a packed thing. And I think that maybe the island that we're on, we're not going to guarantee as many ticket sales. So just get down to the logistics there.
Sure.
Yeah.
They'll expect you to go over.
I can hear that, you know, from the other end. Like they would have fun. You know, they may love it, you know, coming out here. Ludacris, P. Diddy, like anybody, you know, like, you know, man, Future, like anybody. But it's like,
oh, look, they leaving the grass on the field for you, brother. And let me tell you something, man. I wish you much success with what you're doing out there. I really appreciate your time today. And I'm gonna continue following. Yeah, man. I'm gonna put your IG up here for other folks to follow you as well. I told my brother Jeffro about you.
You got 2 followers. We gotta
talk to this brother, man. And so thank you, man.
Yeah.
Any shout outs you want to give before we get off this thing?
I want to say y'all stay safe and like definitely like just keep making things like good for whatever happens like right now. This is just gonna pass, you know what I'm saying? Like this is just like some preseason, and like right now I'm kind of saying the same thing to myself, you know what I'm saying? Like I kind of want to go back and like see my folks or whatever. Like, you know, I've been out here and like when coronavirus happened, I got married while I was out here last year. And like
Congratulations,
they
brother.
Oh, dope. Congratulations.
that, but they know my fiance and everything. Like we've been hanging out. Like she know the family. We've been to like, you know, weddings and funerals together on both sides of our family. So like we tight, but you know, they couldn't be there present for the wedding, you know, because of this whole thing. So like I would to like, you know, come back. But I'm saying the same thing to myself, you know, like I gotta, you know, look at right now, like this is preseason. We gonna come back home. We gonna have some other, you know, celebrations with my fam, whatever. And y'all gonna have situations where you can just open up and like live and like be as you were, you know, before like all this crazy was happening. But right now we just gotta keep, you know, the head, you know, locked on that light in front of us. Just, you know, keep focused, stay on our dean or whatever, or you know, we just doing this for nothing. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
it totally pay off in the end. You know, everything that is like really worthwhile, you know, takes a bit of time, of course, right?
That's real. That's real. That's the lesson. That's the whole lesson, man. Take care of your people. Love those that's loving you back, man. And let's stay sane and safe out in this world. Yo, we're gonna wrap this up. It's been a pleasure, man. I could talk to you for 5 hours to be honest with you, bro, because it's just so fascinating to me, man. Like you're the only person I've ever talked to in Taipei, Taiwan. So you know, for me, I'm always like fascinated by culture and just us, man, just brothers out here in the world, upperly mobile, trying to do something positive, man. So you have a extended pass on the ICareTooMuch podcast, man. Come back anytime, chop it up with us, shoot the shit, talk about whatever. All right, and if you got any links, anything you want the folks to be hip to, man, definitely send those to me so I can pump it on this podcast as well. You got any last shout outs you want to give before we hop off this thing, brother?
Shout out to Black Asian Taiwan. Shout out to my man Brandon Thompson, of course, like put me on, get me onto his next performance coming up, man. I'm gonna be performing like 3 different songs. Shout out to my man, like so many of these different people out here that have like let us. Shout out to Obama. Shout out to Ben Ali. Taylor. Shout out my mom and dad. Shout out the whole fan, the whole DC fan. But yeah, like. Last words, like for real, this has been wonderful. Thank you for your time. And like, you know, I hope that we can have more experiences where like I can get you connected with some more people that are in our community out here and show you like some different perspectives, especially from some of the people that in some of the islands that are out here, you know, because they going through some interesting perspective of like, you know, being Black, but being like, you know, Islander Black American out here and encountering like some different types of, you know, maybe things from like racism to privilege and like fun and different things. So I definitely want to like open you and like your viewers, you know, these different communities, some real dope people. Because like
let them know they have an outlet.
We talk about like, you know, what we put in the mumbo sauce and everything, but like, you know, I want to, you know, see some other people that are like-minded, like in terms of my perspective coming out here, but giving you some enlightenment in terms of like this coming from Barbados or whatever, and like what life is like and stuff. Because it always is like a new thing for me, meeting other travelers out here that go through the same type of thing, but they super duper transplants just like me. It's like England, Scotland, like South America, what? And you know, we just chop it up just like this, you know what I'm saying? Getting that connection popping.
Yeah, cultural gumbo. That's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah, so, man.
We're gonna hop off this thing. This is the ICareTooMuch podcast. You know what it is. My man Tony from DC says, follow him on the IG, Tony from DC says. And we're gonna close this thing out. Bong bong.
Peace.
Oh, before you go, you told us how to greet each other, and that was Zauhan.
That was
Zauhan.
Yeah, Zauhan.
How do we depart? What would we say to depart each other?
Good night. We say Wan An.
Wan
An.
Wan An.
There we go. Wan An.
Peace, y'all.
Y'all take it easy.